Daktari, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here. Karibu sana.
Thank you for the invitation.
What we do here, PS, is we fix the nation, one conversation at a time. Not us, but including our guests and our community of fixers who are watching us and listening to us on radio and TV and online. So thank you for joining us today. And we'll have very many questions and seeking just to understand the workings of eCitizen. Your State Department is also in charge of the Huduma centers. You're also in charge of registration of persons. And now we know there's a new way of getting IDs and so on and so forth. All those will come up. First, what we do is we welcome you with a quote. Janet Bogo is going to give you a quote. Words that were said by somebody many years ago. And let's see whether they make sense to you today and your interpretation of those words today.
Thank you for the intro. This is Claudia Rankine. She's a Jamaican-born American poet and playwright. And she once said, "The oppressor's language is often one of amnesia." What do you make of that? The oppressor's language is often one of amnesia.
Thank you very much. I think one thing that I would want to say first is thank you for giving me an opportunity to be able to engage with yourself this morning, to be able to engage with the country and be able to share with Kenyans and all of us what we do as a country. I think the thing that is there is always is that you would want to give the best to your own country. You would want to make sure that people enjoy being citizens of a country. They would want to see themselves as part of that life of being that country. And in whatever it is that they do, they would want to do it in a way that they enjoy. They would want to see themselves being part of a process. They would want to see themselves that whatever it is they are doing, the creation of what they are doing was that they were part of that process of making it possible. And when it comes to eCitizen, and the quote that you have just said is that we would want to make it easy and enjoyable for people to get services, so that it's not like it's not like anybody is sitting on them. It is not like anybody is making it difficult. It's not like it is painful to get a government service. And therefore, nobody should feel oppressed when they are getting out to be part of a country by acquiring services that they expect to come from government. And therefore, eCitizen was part of that journey, to make it easy, to make it friendly, and to make it accessible at the time that you need it. And not to feel punished sometime when you are restricted to getting service between 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Then some people would feel that they are not getting the freedom that they require, and therefore feel oppressed. And we feel that we were able to give freedom and unlock Kenyans from a time-bound engagement to a free and relaxed way of doing things, and therefore acquire what we have always envisaged as a country on a 24/7 service as we go towards a 24/7 economy.
It's a really good. I was going to say it's a good way of linking the nature of oppression to people don't want to feel that way. They want to be able to access with dignity, at the tip of their fingers, exactly, conveniently. So that's a good way to link it.
Beautiful one. 22,000 services, PS, right?
Yes.
Now available on eCitizen. If we just to break it down, how many transactions are we talking about in a day?
One thing that I would want to say is that at the beginning of this administration, and as part of the promises that were given to Kenyans by the president, was that we wanted to make service delivery convenient. We are dealing with a very young population in this country today. Our median age is 19 years. These are the people who would want to get their service not in the traditional way that some of us did. And therefore, doing it in a way that they enjoy is very important. And therefore, going and onboarding services into a system that is friendly was very important. When government came on, there were only 397 services in the eCitizen platform. But what we realized is that there was huge potential of delivering service better. And therefore, our team then mapped out services that would be onboarded. The president had given a target of 5,000 services to be onboarded within 12 months. But our team surprised themselves by onboarding 21,000 services, because it was realized that more Kenyans really require services in an easier way. Today we have 22,000 services onboarded. We have 500,000 hits on the system per day. So we have 500 visits to the eCitizen machine.
500,000.
Yes. We have 14 million Kenyans registered into the eCitizen system.
Okay.
So in terms of traffic, I can say this is the highest traffic that you can get anywhere. I gave an analogy one time. The traffic through JKIA on a day is around 15,000. The traffic to Sarit Center today is around 25,000 per day. So eCitizen is doing 500,000 hits per day. That would have been 500,000 Kenyans walking into offices looking for services. You can imagine that what that would mean for in our environment and for our office and for the logistics that are there.
True.
Yeah.
I want to know how services are classified on eCitizen, because I hear 22,000 services and it sounds like a lot. So what is classified as a service? If it, like, for example, I go on to pay parking, is that a service? No, let me do a license, for example. Renewing versus applying for a new one.
Yeah.
Are those two different services, or is that one?
You know, in government today, every ministry, every institution, they have service charters. When you walk into a government office, the first thing that you see is a service charter indicating the services that are offered by that institution and the time frame within which you get that service. Now, whatever you see on all those service charters are services offered by these MDAs is what we classify as services in the eCitizen, because we map it. It is already mapped out by MDAs.
Okay.
They have even given the time frame within which you will get that service.
Okay.
They will say driving license renewal. It will take you 3 days. So that is a service which is mapped out by NTSA. So we have mapped out that service in the eCitizen system.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a service. Okay, so then passport application as service, passport renewal as service, then lost passport as service. So what, like that? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, separately.
Right.
Parking, paying entry into various parks. I did that on the weekend, so that's the latest one I can think of.
Yes,
as service.
as service.
22,000. I'm trying to think of the ones which, first of all, I know that there was a system crash. I'll get into that. What are some of the lesser known is a weird way to put it. What are some of the services that you feel people have the ability to access that they don't know about, that could perhaps provide more convenience and access? What comes to mind? Because the ones Mariam has mentioned, passport, ETC, park, as Eric has said, people know those. Are there any that you feel the public is not utilizing well enough that could offer more convenience?
Since we have mapped out agencies, then it is all about an agency. Let's say if you are dealing with KWS, then there are certain services that KWS offered. People may only be knowing about back entry. But when you map KWS, there could be other services that they could be offering. And therefore, those are the items now that would encourage the MDAs themselves, because it is the MDAs that offer services. It is then them to make Kenyans appreciate and understand what services they have onboarded into the system. Because we are a service provider ourselves through the eCitizen. Right. Then everybody else who has onboarded services into the eCitizen, it is upon them to make sure that Kenyans know what services they have onboarded, so that it makes it easier for their clients to be able to acquire these particular services.
Okay.
Yeah.
So KWS should be telling you it's not just park entry.
It is
this and that. Okay.
Yes.
I'm thinking through, and Kenya's, like you said, our median age is 19, very young population, with high internet connectivity, fairly internet savvy, but there are still proportions of the country that may not be internet savvy. What is the safeguard to ensure now inclusion for them? I'm thinking through, if my grandmother has to use eCitizen, it might be a bit of a struggle unless someone helps her. And then if that person is not the right person to help her, that becomes a problem. So just thinking through inclusion, so that as we open it up to the many young people, and even people who are not young but who are tech savvy, we don't leave out those who are not unable to access the internet or to use it very well.
Inclusivity is very important. And equal opportunity is also extremely important, so that no part of a country or no individuals feel left out. And that's why even issues of people living with disability, we make sure that as much as we can, that they are able to enjoy this particular service. Yes, we acknowledge today in some parts of this country there is still challenges in penetration of internet services. But I think what is important is what we are doing as a country to make sure that all of us are able to access this service and be able to do this through availability of internet that is there with the Kenya Power, to be able to connect public institutions. And out of that connection to public institutions, be they schools, hospitals, chief's offices, and all these offices, then the neighborhood within which those institutions are then would be able also to benefit from this connection. And today, every part of this country has a school, an hospital, and therefore going forward, I think what we need to look at is going forward is making it possible for each one of us to access. Today, there are satellite-based technologies of providing internet connection. And there is a lot of engagement and a lot of discussion within government to ensure that this is done. Later, when we discuss about the ID issuance, we are also moving towards that direction of using live capture systems, which are supported by connectivity, to be able to make it easy for people to acquire IDs. So yes, we acknowledge that there are still challenges in certain parts of the country, but I think what is important is the investment that we are putting, the effort that we are putting to make sure that the 50 million Kenyans today, the 50 million telephone lines that are out there are part of that particular drive towards ensuring that we are able to penetrate and benefit from this eCitizen service.
You talked about convenience and the question that you asked about KWS. So I've logged on to eCitizen and gone to KWS and seen, they have many services. There's parking fee, national park entry. You can apply for marine sanctuary entry. You can apply to operate a wildlife utilization enterprise or annual pass, aircraft single entry, boat charges, event sites. You can apply for placement of international volunteers, application for export, re-export, hostel charges, application for registration of operations for artificial or for propagation of aloe species, authority to keep African grey parrot, certificate
Say that again.
application for authority to keep African grey parrot.
Specifically.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Certificate of ownership for possession of trophies, application for import permit. So depending on the need that you have.
The one for aircraft is which one?
The one for aircraft is for a single entry into a park.
Okay.
Entering.
So take my
You
toy
see how
out to
the
fly.
it's very easy
Entering
to
the
see how we
park.
get to 22,000.
This is
Bugani
true.
Guest House, Wildlife of Kenya members. So there are many.
Okay.
Hire, overhaul, and all those services If I needed a service, then I would know that, okay, so this service is available.
Right.
Obviously, if I had absolutely no need for parrots, I would not know that KWS has this as a service.
An African grey parrot, not just any parrot.
African grey parrot.
That's interesting.
Application to keep, or application to keep a trophy. All these things now, I can see the sense of the convenience, because then you apply, you don't have to go into KWS office to apply for this permit, to deal with Officer A and Accountant C and Accountant 3, umelipia hapo Accountant 7, and so on and so forth. It's convenience. The question though, PS, this convenience is coming at a fee. And we call it convenience fee of 50 shillings. Is there a justification for that convenience fee? I know this question has been asked 79,000 times.
But it has to.
79,001 times. Is there a justification for this convenience fee?
I think I usually look at it in a way that we charge a convenience fee which is prorated to a maximum of 50 shillings. And it is prorated down all the way to almost 10 shillings.
There are some services where the convenience fee is just 10 bob.
Yes.
Allah.
Yeah. So it is a prorated way of payment. And just like any huge machinery like that one, such machinery doing so much work, 500,000 visits in a day, then for it to be able to continue giving that service, it requires maintenance. It requires updating. It requires it to be up to date in terms of technology, in terms of protection, in terms of all that which such a huge machinery would need. So convenience fee that we charge really is not about the individual. It is about making sure that individual continuously get that service by ensuring that the service is available and that the system is on each day and each time that you are using up to date in terms of technology, in terms of maintenance, just like when you have your car and you take it for service. Huge engines of 4.5 liters would cost you more to service than if you had a 1,000 liter one.
Yeah.
So in all this, then that's why even the rates at which we charge you is prorated. Right. Because it is about the complexity of service that you are asking for.
But yes.
The more complex, then the system would apply itself in a more intense way.
Yes. Don't the taxes do that?
Right. That's number one. Number two.
I'm walking into an office, right? I'm walking into a Huduma Center, and you're telling me to pay to enter Huduma Center.
Because it costs money to put up the Huduma Center, to pay the rent for the building, to pay the people in there. And yes, but there's no convenience fee for that.
I can't, if we were to depend on the taxpayers' money, the cost of maintaining the system is so huge. And if we spread it thin to all of us who benefit from it, it would be a better way. You still pay certain charges when you go out to do certain things. When you go to do inspections of your car, it is a service that is provided by somebody who is paid by government. But you still pay a fee for that inspection.
Yes.
Yeah, because it is a unique service that you are getting that requires certain maintenance beyond the normal. This one also, the 50 shillings or the 10 shillings that we are paying may not necessarily be what would cost, but because of the traffic and all that, then it comes down and we spread this particular cost to the consumer of service.
Right.
Because there are so many other Kenyans who may not be consuming that service.
It's true.
Yeah, so let the consumer of service also meet certain basic costs that makes it easier and convenient for them to get this service.
From a user perspective, it feels like a double charge because 9 times out of 10 for whatever I'm going on to eCitizen to do, I'll pay something. And then I'll pay the convenience fee on top of that. So a really easy example is last week we had Karura Forest conversations. We spoke to the Chief Conservator of Forests. We also spoke to one of the members of Friends of Karura. And anecdotally, you used to pay 100 bob to enter Karura Forest. You pay your 100 shillings, you're good to go. Onboarded on eCitizen, 222. Now you pay 166. There's the 50 bob convenience fee and then a 16% VAT charge. So again, it feels like a double charge. I used to have 100 bob and I go into Karura. Now I need an extra 66 shillings.
Yeah.
We're just about to go into a break. Hold that thought and then we can answer the question after the break, okay? So our hashtag is Fixing the Nation and TV. We'll be right back after this with the Principal Secretary for Immigration and Citizen Services, Belio Kipsang. Daktari. Ni prof, actually.
Daktari.
Daktari. We'll be right back. 100.
Thank you for always speaking to highest attainable standard. We can see your manifesto.
Yeah.
Shaping.
Really?
No, like shape, load.
Well, no, jokes.
Because highest attainable standard, we take that for granted.
Right.
Yeah, and it's critical. Dan Jerry is saying, kindly ask Dr. where to get customer service and create corporate accounts. We have a challenge where one uses a personal account to handle employers' data, example, police hire and license renewal. Okay, we don't know if that's an eCitizen question, but we can look into that. The Kikombe says, is it me or that convenience fee explanation is more like drinking soup with a fork? He feels like it's double taxing. That's his take.
Speaks to the question, but we'll get back into that.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much that feedback.
Yeah, so, the same question. It does feel like a double taxation or a double fee, a double up, because you're going to access this service somewhere where it's convenient, but then now there's a fee for this convenience. And yes, just before the break, I'd given the perfect example. 2 weeks ago, 100 bob, and you're inside Karura. A week now, from last week coming into this one, now you need 166 shillings. 50 bob is the convenience fee. 16% is VAT. Let's not get into that yet. But yeah, it does feel like a convenience fee. I mean, an inconvenience and a double taxation for most Kenyans.
I think, as I mentioned earlier, I still insist that we have to make this tour of getting service convenient, secure, and friendly. And we must do all that it takes to make sure this is achieved. And it is always good to make sure that maintenance and servicing of the system is assured. The best way and the only way we can do this is to ensure that we have a dedicated resource that ensures the continuity of the system. This convenience fee and that we are charging today started off in 2013 when the eCitizen system started. eCitizen system has been around since 2013 to date. And when there was conversation between National Treasury to start a system that will be able to make it convenient for Kenyans to acquire service in that 2013, a fee of 50 shillings was discussed, negotiated, and agreed upon between the World Bank, Treasury, and the people who were requested then to develop the system. So that has been on up to today. And as we do it today, 2 years ago, we thought that it is good to be able to rate each service. But there are some services which are more complex.
Yeah.
There are services which are simple services. It is not equitable for you to charge the same for services that do not require the same effort in providing. And that's why we have prorated these particular charges that we are giving, the service charge.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would want to really insist that it is critical for us to be able to have a dedicated resource that ensures this system is running in the way that Kenyans expect it to run.
How much is it costing us to maintain the platform? Is it per month, per year? How much does it actually cost us to maintain in numbers?
There are various aspects of maintenance. Like when you are making payments through 222, it goes through a gateway. And that gateway, you pay a fee to use the gateway. Just like there is a fee when you are using M-Pesa, because you are going through a system. So there is, on the payment gateway, there are certain charges that you must be able to be charged to go through that particular gateway. When you are getting a message telling you that your ID is ready for collection, then there is a charge that will be charged on you on that SMS, and which you must therefore pay the service provider of that particular SMS message. When it comes to the system itself, then there will be issues that you have to do maintenance in cybersecurity. The data must be hosted somewhere, though it is hosted in a government system. But you'll always ensure when it comes to cybersecurity, then the system must be protected. Yeah. So all these cumulatively adds up to the services that you are paying for. That convenience fee. Yeah.
I know that before, during the break, we were seeking out a breakdown. I think Kenyans would appreciate it if we just got a ballpark of what you pay, what comes in vis-a-vis what it takes to maintain. I think there's even one or two people here who are asking about that. How much was used in maintenance of the system? Raymond asks for the year 2023-24, but we'll see if we can get that information.
We shall be very happy to provide that information because it is just like on systems. I'm sure there must be systems that you are running at NTV and they must be paid for. Even systems like Oracle today that we use for payments in government, even our IFMI system, there will be certain maintenance costs that we continue to maintain. This is a Kenyan-developed system. It was developed by our own engineers, our own young Kenyans. And when you look at the cost at which maintain it, compared to some of these off-shelf systems, as a country, we are saving huge, other than making sure also that our young people who are innovative get a benefit from what they are doing.
Right. Yeah. And we'll come back to the numbers a bit later once we have them with the breakdown like Janu has asked. Then the other question is, from a public understanding, how does the money flow, and not just the convenience fee, but all fees, for example. So again, it's a question of how do I know all this money comes into one pool on eCitizen? From there, where does it go? And then for the convenience fee as well, who does it go to? Regardless of the amounts, who's doing the maintenance? How does it get to them? Yeah, I think that's the question. How does the money flow?
Thank you very much. We have our system, which is 222, which is our pay bills that we use to make sure that all payments are done. When you make that payment into that particular pay bill, we at the Ministry of Interior, the State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services, is purely a pipe through which the resources will go through. We don't get access, just like our pipeline of from Mombasa all the way to Western Kenya taking our oil. It is just a pipeline. Anybody along the pipeline will not be able to access the oil that it transports. We also are a pipe that makes sure that through 222 resources are put into this system, and the resources flow directly to the National Treasury. The National Treasury has a collection account originally at KCB, and we have this account, the collection account at KCB, which collects all these resources, and a settlement account at Central Bank, where now it goes there so that it is settled into the various MDAs that obtain service from the system, and where citizens have made the payments of that service, then they are supposed to get their resource.
MDA meaning?
The ministries, departments, and agencies. So these will get their resources from the settlement account at the central bank. So all resources, I want to make that one very clear. All resources settled at Treasury. So we at the Ministry of Interior don't handle any resources out of the services that Kenyans acquire through eCitizen. Even what we use to pay for maintenance, because we are vendors who maintain our system. When we get an invoice from the people who maintain our system, we request for that resource from National Treasury so that we can pay the vendor. So it is not that we maintain and retain some money somewhere, so that when somebody say, pay me for my service, we go pick it.
Right.
All resources go to the National Treasury, because that is what the law says.
Okay.
Is that inclusive of the fee, the convenience fee?
All of the resource that is collected goes to
All
National
money goes
Treasury.
into that pot.
Treasury.
Yes, and then
the
now when we want to pay for services ourselves, then once we have received an invoice, then we request for that resource from the National Treasury. Then the National Treasury will release the resource, and we use that resource to pay any of the people who provide specific services.
So the Auditor General has visibility into this entire chain, from payment to going into the National Treasury to then the distribution to the various entities and vendors, right?
When the not real-time visibility,
But
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
she's doing,
When she's
when
doing
the
her
Auditor
audits.
General is
Audits.
doing the audit, then all this information is available to her on all that movement.
In her latest report, the Auditor General flagged some 44.8 billion shillings, which was collections that the Auditor General was saying are unaccounted for. And there were questions that were raised on the platform. So there's some money that appears to have been raised. It appears that it was collected but can't be accounted for. How do you respond to such queries from the Auditor General in terms of when the money comes in? There are questions of where it's going. There are questions about the payments to third-party vendors that have been raised by the Auditor General. How do you respond to all those questions?
Without being preemptive, because we are in engagements with the Public Accounts Committee of the National Assembly, is that we have supplied all the necessary documentations, both ourselves and the National Treasury, so that the Auditor General is able to adequately make an assessment of the resources that has been collected. And I can assure you that having the National Treasury having given the Auditor General all the documentations, then this issue is being settled. I can tell you one thing, if any of that resource was not there, this money is not for National Treasury. It is for ministries, departments, and agencies. These agencies would not be running. These agencies would have come out to complain that they have not received their money. So it is purely dealing with documentations. And we are already doing that with the Auditor General and the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question, just that's sort of almost tied to that before you. Dr. Kipsang, you were previously in basic education.
Yes.
And there was this whole controversial directive for school fees to be paid through the eCitizen portal. Of course, it went to court and the case is ongoing. But what was the justification for it? For saying that school fees, especially for boarding schools, be paid through the 22222?
Now that I've been in the two worlds,
Yes.
the education world and the eCitizen world, without being prejudicial in terms of the case that is going on, is that the 22222 system is the most convenient and transparent and accountable way that you can be able to get everybody who is associated with any of those payments will be able to see the movement of the resources. The parent would be very sure that my school fees has reached the school. The school would be sure that whatever they were to collect has been collected. It really improves on accountability, transparency, and visibility. As a teacher, if I were in a school today, I would be among the first ones today to say that is the direction to take. But it is something that is in court. We don't want to look like we are discussing an active court case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that always comes to mind, but I think you spoke to it, is that inclusion. Because education, the breadth of education also includes those who may not necessarily be able to access the portal. I just wanted to step a little bit away from money matters. I know we'll come back because there's some numbers that are being put together, but is eCitizen under data protection? It is, right? It is, okay. Because there's a question here from Kikombe. Data privacy. How safe is our personal data on eCitizen? We just saw that a service provider gave out some data to the police without a court order. How rigorous and protected is my data? Can you speak to data protection?
One is that we are covered and regulated by the data protection law and the data commissioner. And all that we do, we get all the necessary approvals. We get all the necessary audit and assessment by the Commissioner for Data Protection. I can assure everybody that their data is properly protected. If it were not, then the Data Protection Commissioner would have flagged it out. Because we are governed by the data protection laws, both locally and internationally. Yeah.
It's an issue that the Auditor General has also raised in terms of the ownership of the platform and the access to the various stages on the platform. So the third-party vendors who are maintaining the platform, how much control do they have? And if they woke up today and decided, you know what, hii serikali ya Kenya tumechoka nayo, can they walk away with
with eCitizen?
With eCitizen.
Ownership.
One thing I want to say is that eCitizen, as I mentioned, was conceptualized and initiated in 2013 through a discussion of government and the World Bank. When that happened, then government, through support of the World Bank, sourced for a developer to develop this particular system. Some young people under a webmaster came in to develop this system. And the system started running in 2014 with what we are saying, convenience fee and all that. And originally they onboarded 10 services. And for a long time, they were on 10 services. And they were collecting, that time the system was different. They would collect the convenience fee and retain it, and then the government would get its own part. This ran up to 2017, when government took up the system fully. When that happened, there was a dispute for quite some time. It went to court, and for between 2017 and 2022, no payments was made to the service provider, neither, but the resources that was going to government still continued going to government. So when in 2022 the new administration came on board, then it was found necessary that this is a system that can be used to improve on service delivery. An engagement was started, and through the advice of the Attorney General, it was found necessary that these issues can be settled out of court. And that was done. A settlement was arrived at through the support and the guidance of the Attorney General. And an engagement thereof started on ensuring that the eCitizen services is properly secured by government. So discussions and engagements were done, and there was an agreement that was signed between government and the developers of the system. And the developers of the system surrendered the source codes and all the necessary protocols to ensure that the system was with the government. The same was signed off by my colleagues who were there then, the PS for immigration, the PS for ICT, and the PS for the National Treasury, with the guidance of the Attorney General.
When was this, sorry?
That was in 2022. It was the beginning of 2023 when government took it off. So upon that particular engagement, then there was need for government to get people who will be able to maintain the system. And the eCitizen Directorate, which is headed by Ambassador Ocheng, was created with 100 engineers, ICT engineers, to support the system, with the support of the Ministry of ICT, so that these people would support in onboarding services and basic running of the system. But still the system required proper technical support, which at that particular time, it was procured through procurement processes. It went through our normal procurement systems. And we onboarded 3 firms to support us. One on technical, 2 is on a gateway, and the 3rd one on the communication and feedback.
Dr. Ari, sorry to interrupt you. Since we're going into the next hour, and I know we'll still thread a little bit on data protection, we don't want to lose the caller we have. There's somebody who wants to make a contribution before we go into a break. Henry from Nairobi is on the line. Good morning, Henry. Do you have a question or comment to make towards this conversation today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ilikuwa nauliza Bwana Belio Kipsang, Now that anataka watu walipe school fees through eCitizen. Kuna mzazi ambaye upeleka mahindi shule ndio inakuwa school fees. Hiyo itakuwa inaingizwa aje kwa eCitizen? Sababu wao wanafikiria, they think kila mtu wote yako Nairobi, akona access ya simu, this information. They should be mindful of that.
Right.
And again, that service fee is too much. Wazazi ni wangapi Kenya? Na hiyo pesa yote itaenda wapi? That is my question.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Henry.
you.
All right, we'll go on a short break, but we'll get back to your question. And of course, the PS was also still threading on, the exact, not timeline, what should I call it?
It's the ownership structure.
The ownership
now,
structure, yes.
And now who is maintaining? Who's
Yes,
been contracted to
and
maintain?
who's been contracted to maintain. Webmasters were here. We heard their end. Let's hear this and compare notes. Higher. Hashtag is Fixing the Nation and TV. We'll be right back after this. Okay.
Our conversation continues with the PS for Immigration and Citizen Services, Dr. Belio Kipsang. We've been talking about eCitizen and just getting to understand eCitizen. We'll soon again switch into getting to understand, passport issuance, ID issuance, and whether that is happening smoothly. But before we went to the break, PS, there was a question that was asked on, and you need to explain further on if this matter had not gone to court the way it had been envisioned, payment of school fees, many people argue, many pay school fees in kind. How would that have worked? Then secondly, you'll come back and just finish the thread of
The ownership.
The ownership, and you've taken us through that journey of the ownership and said, so you've now contracted three different entities, one to provide technical support, another one to provide support for the payment gateway, and another one to provide support for communication and so on. But start with...
Thank you very much. I think Entry asked a question about today in the rural setup and in quite a number of places. Being a teacher myself, I appreciate that sometimes parents would pay in kind, either in firewood, in maize, in beans, as part of their school fees. But even when you pay in this particular in kind, the thing is, fees as a monetary value. Fees is either 10,000 shillings, 20,000 shillings. So when you bring in whatever it is in kind that you bring, it is put into a value. And it is that value that we would have captured in our electronic system. And so that that particular value is visible, it can be tracked, it can be accounted for. That is what we account for, the value.
How is that going to work? Yes, because you're telling us to go to 222222, enter the school ID as the account number, pay the school fees. How do I put firewood?
This, as I said, we put value and we capture the value. Because it is the value that you are capturing in 22222. You are capturing a value of 10,000 into the system. And so that you know who paid, then you use an account. It could be an ID or a student registration number. It is the same thing that you are capturing value. That's the most important thing. Even when you take your notes, it is the value of that money that you are capturing in the system. Just like it would be the value of what you are bringing in kind that we are capturing in system.
But yes,
I know
now,
that
if I pay, I'm actually transferring money from my mobile wallet onto this eCitizen wallet. Now, if I were to pay school fees using, firewood, how would I capture that value? And how would the National Treasury know that there's 10,000 shillings worth of firewood that has been paid by Eric?
Right. Because as it stands, I go to the principal.
Yeah, given the
firewood.
uniqueness of the education environment, and in this particular one, these are some of the things that we had engaged ourselves with a number of stakeholders before we went into it, because we appreciated that there are unique ways in which they do. And one of the ways in which our colleagues then at the eCitizen and the Ministry of Interior is that we requested a unique way of capturing some of these unique aspects. And therefore, we would capture this in value, and this value captured then would be transmitted in a system that would be able to be identified by the ecosystem of the electronic payment.
Is this, so this is a proposal, it's something being worked on. It's not in practice yet.
Our teams had already worked on it.
Oh, so has it been rolled out?
We had already run tests on how this value would be captured.
Okay.
And nobody was going to be disadvantaged. That is the assurance I give. And just like in most of our social environment and the social services that are provided, the convenience fee is not charged on most of our social services. Be it you have gone to the hospital and certain payments are made, we don't charge convenience fee. In our universities today, when they are paying the school fees and all the things that they pay to the university by students, we don't charge convenience fee. Just like this one of schools, which is a social service, we would not have charged convenience fee.
Please hold that thought, because I want to get back to capturing, the value of in kind. But we have a caller called Sami from Mombasa. Good morning, Sami.
Good morning.
What is your question or comment?
Okay, my good question to the good doctor is about, are there any intended programs, or shall I say sensitization, to address the low digital literacy amongst users of this system? Yeah, which comes hand in hand with the lack of infrastructure on the same, security concerns, something that you have mentioned, following a cyber attack or something, and also the sharing of data. I know that there's some policy that has addressed that, but how comfortable are we as Kenyans to the security of our data? I'm still not convinced, and I believe many are not.
Sami, can I ask you a question? When you talk about the literacy of the user,
Yeah.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, because, okay, I've been to Huduma Center specifically. Now, when somebody comes to ask for a service, for instance, he's being referred to a particular cyber cafe. And it is my honest belief that, I mean, with the usage of smartphones, somebody could still do it alone, you know. So I believe that's what I mean by
low digital literacy. Thanks, Sami.
Yeah.
I think that's...
All right.
Yeah.
We'll get the PS to answer your questions in just a bit. Thank you, Sami. So, yeah, let's go back
To capturing in the value.
In the value in kind.
Yeah.
Still haven't
Understood.
understood exactly how, because for example, if the court rules today that we can pay school fees through eCitizen, and I go to school with my firewood and my 3, 4, 5 gunias of maize and a few beans here and there, how exactly will that be captured in kind? I could tell you that if I go to the market, this is worth for 33,000 shillings. Okay. How will that be captured in kind? Do I go to eCitizen itself? Is there a part of the platform that allows for that? Is there, because if it's not on the platform, then I don't know. Because if I just go to 222, I only know money. It's only what is in my M-Pesa or Airtel money into the pay bill.
Thank you very much. You know, when you are paying in kind, you deliver what it is that you are paying in to the institution.
Yes.
And it is the institution to appreciate the value. And that's why they issue you a receipt in monetary terms. They don't say you brought 10 bags of maize. They say you have paid school fees of an equivalent of this amount. So it is that equivalent amount that our teams worked on to get a way in which that is captured. It becomes visible, it becomes accountable, and that it can be
And
tracked.
receipted.
Yeah.
That means you have to agree on the value. I can
Yeah.
see the nuances there. Somebody's saying it's worth 10,000. You're like, absolutely not. It's worth 34,000. So it's who
It's the
gets
same
to make
arguments that happen now. Because right now, like you're saying, if you took firewood to a school, it has to be a negotiation between you and the school administration to quantify that firewood. Right? And it will not end until both of you have agreed. If firewood umelete is worth 5,000 or 6,000. So upon agreement, that's when now you start receipting, getting a receipt of umelipa school fees.
Yeah.
And they buy
Worth
firewood
5,000.
anyway.
Yes.
So
For
this,
their different
this
uses.
forms part of the firewood.
Yes.
And there is a cost to it when they are buying it from
Yeah.
the open market.
So
Just
they
like
create
when they
it.
are buying maize from the open market, then it is out of that value of open market that will be captured.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so we've agreed on the value. They've receipted me. How does this go on eCitizen?
Then that's why I'm saying now, this value,
Yeah.
through the unique system that the school, given its environment, then is captured in that unique way in which schools operate,
Which is still
but
not...
which integrates into the eCitizen system.
Okay.
Maria,
So it's a work in progress.
The thing has not been rolled out yet. This
Okay.
thing that that would capture the value
piloting.
Okay.
had not been rolled out yet.
Okay.
If the court case goes through and the government is allowed then to roll out the eCitizen through schools, this is when you roll it out.
We
Am I right?
shall be prepared and ready to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you shall
That
have, you
translation
shall have
of
now
value.
to educate the people on this is how you actually capture it.
Yeah, and the people we shall be educating is essentially those at school level.
The school heads.
Yeah, because it is not so common a practice. Yeah, but we've got to take care of this in unique situations so that the system is equitable and inclusive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it being something that a lot of people would turn to, right?
I mean,
In
it's
various
already,
communities,
it is in practice right
Yes.
now how a lot of people pay fees. Not in many urban areas, probably.
No, for
but
sure.
For sure,
Yeah.
across the country. Yeah.
Okay.
And each case has its own unique ways of doing.
Yeah.
When you go to the one you talked about, KWS, some people would want to pay a service in advance before they even acquire the service. That is a unique way because you are giving value to what you have not acquired.
Yeah.
So these unique situations, each one of them has to be treated in its own unique way.
Okay.
Yeah.
He still spoke to the expense of, and we'll come back to the money bits, to the expense of eCitizen, and said, of the convenience fee, said, still it feels a bit pricey for a lot of people. But perhaps let's finish with the ownership structure. So you had finished telling us, one, that webmasters reverted the source code and everything to government.
Yeah.
And now there's 3 firms who are helping to maintain eCitizen.
Yes.
Okay. One does the gateway, one does communications, the other one does the technical
yes.
bits. Yeah. Okay. These 3 firms, let me begin with how much it costs per year or per month to have them now run. Run eCitizen. Is it run or maintain? Let me use the word maintain. Maintain eCitizen. How much it costs. And then we can get back to another conversation of, the convenience fee vis-a-vis the cost of maintenance of eCitizen.
Yeah, so thank you very much. So we were at a point where I was indicating that these 3 firms were brought on board through a procurement process. So it is not that we woke up one morning and say these are the people who will maintain our system. They went through a process and they were identified. And one is that it was easier for them, and maybe they had a better competitive advantage, having been the ones who developed the system. And therefore it was easier for them to be able to give the way in which they'll maintain. And I always give an analogy. When you buy a car, if you buy a Toyota, you don't buy the Toyota service center. You buy the car and you'll still go back to the service center run by Toyota Kenya. So as much as we have the eCitizen system and the machinery, we still would go to the service provider, somebody who would make sure that it is maintained. Yes, and that is the essence of acquiring these 3 firms. One for technical, which is the webmaster. 2 is for the gateway, which is the PESA flow. And 3 for feedback mechanism through the SMS, which is Olive Tree. So these 3 firms were acquired through a procurement process so that they would be able to support us in ensuring that services are properly, so the system is properly maintained and to ensure that Kenyans optimize in getting the services that they would require.
Okay.
Now, I have said on average, there are bands within which there was an agreement on how we shall run our systems, where we said if we have this number of services, then it would cost this much to maintain them. Maybe the first 2,000 services would cost us this much. When services go to 5,000, then it would cost this much. When they go to what we have today, 22,000, then it would cost this much, because it was not arbitrary. It was a system that it went through a way in which we made assessment on how much it would cost us as you progress in the number of services. And that is how we have done it. And I've said today, on average would be up to the other day, as we start the new year, I think we've been paying almost 115 to 120 million per month, which is an average of around 1.1 billion shillings in a year. Yeah. Okay. And in a year, as I said earlier, we collect daily between 750 million to 1 billion shillings.
Daily?
That's what we collect daily. Yeah.
And this is not just convenience, it is...
No, that is what we collect daily.
All money collected for all the services.
For all the services. Yeah. And you remember I said when we took up the system, we were collecting 60 million shillings. Yeah. Today we collect up to 1 billion shillings per day.
Per day.
Yeah, on this particular system. So in a year, we pay almost 1.1 billion shillings to maintain this system.
Okay.
But you see, in a year, we collect almost 250.
345.
Yeah, assuming we were working every day.
Okay.
Yeah, but on average, maybe 250 to 300 billion shillings.
All right.
Just want to do some quick math.
You're doing some quick math.
Okay, but yeah,
Yeah,
continue.
do the math, and I know we'll still math at some point,
and
but we have a caller.
Yes,
We have a caller. Somebody here is also asking about Shirika plan. So soon we'll go into the passports and a lot of these others. But who from Laikipia? Mike from Laikipia. Good morning. Thank you for calling in. Do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Mike Omogo. Mike Omogo, I'm from Laikipia Marmanet. Yeah, I have a comment. First of all, there's a time the government wanted students to pay school fees through eCitizen, and there was a lot of resistance from schools, which I would agree, having been a board member of a school, Zero Secondary School, which is a day school in Marmanet, Laikipia. I witnessed the struggles parents went through to pay fees. And at one point, to support what PS Belio has said, there was a woman who was very poor, and she was paying her school fees through negotiations, through firewood, through work. And her son, his name was Mwangi, if I can remember very well, became the best student in Laikipia that year, and obtained the Wings to Fly equity program, and was awarded that program, went to university and all that. I think now, if we were to use eCitizen, for example, to pay school fees, I can see a lot of confusion, given that even capitation itself without eCitizen is so difficult. So the application of the money received by government to the end user in schools, to me, would be extremely difficult. So maybe next time in Fixing the Nation, we'll call some principals here to come and discuss how they pay this kind of fees using other values other than Kenya shillings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
And the PS has been explaining that as they were proposing this, they were also proposing a way of capturing that.
Yeah.
And I think we'll just need to, you can hear the feedback. There's just the issue of fear and wonder, how will this work? And the feedback generally from government is every time you're rolling out something new, you've got to explain a lot of what that means. Because you assume that because you have been working on it, you understand, then people will just basically see that it works. You said, I remember when the president said, let's increase the number of services onto eCitizen, people were like, Sasa yuki to you. Right? We can see the 22,000 services. You don't necessarily go to use all of them, but whenever you're going to use eCitizen, you find it working. It's just about explaining to citizens how things work. Mariam, you're doing some math.
Some quick math. So
250 billion shillings collected annually.
Right.
Around 750 to a billion collected daily.
But I wanted to take out what goes, I just wanted to work on the convenience fee alone.
A billion shillings. 1.1 billion shillings, you said, PS, right?
That's what we pay. Because
that's what we pay for maintenance.
For maintenance.
Yes, per year. It comes to about 115 million per month, right? Yes. 115 million per month. So I was doing with 500,000 visits per day.
I think what I can do is that I have the figures now of what has been collected on convenience fee. And since 2014, when this convenience fee thing came in, we have collected 3.2 billion shillings.
3.2 billion.
Since 2014 to 2025.
Yes.
3.2 billion shillings
on convenience
alone.
And given the average that we are paying at, it means we have even incurred slightly higher amount to be able to pay the convenience, to pay the service providers than what we have collected in convenience fee.
All right. I'm looking at a situation where if I work with current numbers of 500,000 visits a day at 10 bob, I'm using the least convenience fee because you've said not all are charged. And of course, some will go to the 50 bob. So 10 bob at the very lowest leaves it comes to about 150 million shillings a day. And then that comes, 150 million shillings, actually
It's
a month,
5 million.
sorry. It's 5 million a day, 150 million shillings a month. So then that is more than what is required for the maintenance. And I'm just using very conservative figures here. So then what happens to the
extra
excess?
50.
To the extra, and this is, the 50 is very conservative. But, and I know you've said over time, you have spent more on paying the service provider, but that was of course when there were fewer services and of course fewer people paying the convenience fee. But as we're working now with 22,000 services, 500,000 visits, there's clearly going to be an excess of what is required to service this.
You're asking whether we collect more than we pay.
Boom.
I think I want to...
Whether, and if we go into that, even if we're not doing it now, yes.
Then
What happens to the excess?
Is there room to reduce?
I can say for sure, and I've given numbers. We have collected 3.2 billion shillings. And for the last 11 years. And we pay on average, and given the banding and the amounts that go up as the services go up. And since I've given actual numbers, I would not want to speculate on numbers. I would want to deal with actual numbers as given.
Okay.
And I would say for now is that we are not making any money from Kenyans through convenience fee. It is used to pay to the shilling for the services that we are able to provide through maintenance of the system. So I would not really want us to go into speculations and computing. It is only fair that we deal with numbers as they are.
As they are. We have we're getting into a break. We have a caller. And we still have to talk about Shirika plan, immigration.
IDs specifically.
And IDs. We have a caller from Kisii. We can take the question and go right break and come back, and Dr. Kipsang can speak to it. Sorry, please remind me his name, Philo. Francis from Kisii. Good morning. Do you have a question or comment?
I have a question, madam.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, my question to the PS. In fact, thank you for coming this morning, and you have given us at least, you have tried to teach us how eCitizen is working. But let me tell you, my friend, we love Kenya. But the way we are seeing things rolled out, and then you come to explain later. We doubt you. You just see, Mr. PS, the Auditor General is giving a different story about eCitizen. Controller of Budget is giving a contradiction information about eCitizen. And you are giving from a different side. Who should Kenyans trust? Is it you or the bodies which are entitled to give us the information about our welfare as Kenya? In fact, the Kenya Kwanza regime, or you are, that is what we call eCitizen, e-procurement, e-whatever, it has got a problem here and there. Kindly tell us why you rolled things out and then come to explain later. Thank you.
Thank you. So speaking about, we're going into a break, but you'll come back and speak to it, Dr. Ari, rolling out and then explaining. There was also the question on literacy, how many people understand it. As Eric just mentioned, IDs, as passports, Shirika plan for refugees. See if we're able to capture all of that with Dr. Belio Kipsang. We'll be coming back after this break. It's coming up to 8:30 a.m. A lot to get into still as we continue our conversation with Dr. Belio Kipsang. Vivian says the alternative fee payment option, in brackets rudimentary, will be opening an exploitation avenue to remain off the grid. In place of that, place of delivering equality, you open the soft belly button. I think we were kind of alluding to that during the break, is just understanding, especially if it comes to convenience fee, what is banded where, so that it's justifiable and people understand when I'm paying this, I understand that it's going towards the other. We do have to get through quite a number of other questions as regards ID. We started with the ID question.
Registration of persons is a big thing. And there are two questions here that are running. One is the issuance of IDs. We have very many young people and older people who just require IDs. And the second one is the rollout of the Maisha number, Maisha card. Are we on Maisha PS or are we on the Kawaida National ID?
And as he asks that, Smallest Ever says, I applied for Maisha Digital online and was told to wait for a notification when it's ready. It's been 2 months, I haven't received an email, not even to confirm if the process was successful.
Thank you very much. ID Maisha card. ID is identification. Maisha card is an identification document. So it is one and the same thing. It is only that we've been graduating in terms of generation. We had the first generation ID, we came to the second generation ID. Now we are in a third generation ID, which now is being upgraded to include a chip in it, which will be able to store data. Previously, the hallmark of data was your fingerprint. If you see our other generation IDs, it had a fingerprint. But with the Maisha card now, we have a chip which will be able to store all the data and information, including biometrics of yourself. So, Maisha card is an ID. It is an identification document.
Is it being issued now?
Yes, we have issued almost 4 million Maisha cards. Today, if you lose your ID and you want to replace it, then it will be replaced by the current generation ID, which is the Maisha card and the Maisha number. Your Maisha number remains your current ID because you are just replacing it.
Okay.
For those who are getting it for the first time, they get a Maisha number, which is different, slightly different from our traditional IDs numbers. You know, our old ID numbers, if I told you my ID number, you'd almost guess
your age,
my age and the time I did it.
Okay.
Depending on what it starts
depending
with, 1,
on
2,
what
3,
it starts
4,
with.
5.
Yeah, but now with the Maisha card, we use a unique personal identifier, which is generated at random. There is a generator.
It's not sequential.
There is a generator of the unique personal identification.
Yeah.
So that number now becomes your number. It is not as sequential as what we used to get, that if you are certain times it was 1, it went to 2, it went to, I think the current 4. One is 3.
No, we had 4.
Yeah. So it has reached 4.
Wait, are we phasing out anything?
No, we're not.
We are phasing out
the old ID. If I have my ID with 2 or 1, sorry, just walk me through
If you
what
go
happens.
through to get your new Maisha card, you still retain your number.
Okay.
So it is the new fellas who will get
for the first time.
I see.
Who will get this unique personal identifier through a generated system, which is now a random number.
Okay.
It is not a number that you would say, if you get it, the next person will get this. And this one is done in a way that it meets certain standards. It meets the International Civil Aviation Organization standard as a travel document. It is machine readable. When they swipe it, it can be machine readable. And it stores more information than our old ID, which was stored somewhere. This one now with a chip, then there is more.
What more information?
In terms of your biometrics when you travel, you know, the other one was not machine readable. So it would be difficult when you cross the border. And being able to meet that similar standard as provided by civil aviation travel. So this one now becomes a more useful document in terms of what you can use it for.
Right.
And that makes the reason, because I know the next question mostly you'll ask is about expiry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, given that this is a system that captures certain information that you may use traveling internationally, there are some information may change over time, And because this is more now of a document that you may use beyond our borders, then you need to continuously update. That's how your passport today is captured 10 years, because it is assumed certain aspects of yours, some biometrics and some aspects may
But
be realigned. So,
do we recapture biometrics every time?
Passport
yes, we
renewal.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether you lose, because what else would you? It would be either if you've lost it or it's expired. So whatever reason, yeah, that
thought
it
at some
captures
point
the
you just-
biometrics.
And technology
Yeah.
always grows. There are new aspects that may require, by that time,
Yes.
may be required to be captured, and which were not captured at the time that you acquired the document. So that is why we need to update certain aspects. And 10 years of the passport, 10 years of the ID is as a result of all these issues that may require updating of certain vital items in an identification document.
So if I have an ID now, I just want to understand the current ID. I know this is supposed to be something
The
that
old
the new,
ID,
the
not current.
The old ID.
Janet, the old
Nimekubali, the old ID. Are we being encouraged to go and instead get a Maisha
and
replace it? Because it sounds like, are you encouraging Kenyans basically to replace their current ID?
Yes,
with a
because
Maisha?
the new generation ID would be able to facilitate you
A number of.
do more than
Yes.
what you are doing with your current ID.
Fair, but it's not a directive.
It is not a
It's
directive.
an option, but you are encouraging.
You are encouraging.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many applications for IDs do you receive per month?
Per day, we process on average between 15 to 20,000 IDs on average
Daily.
daily.
How many? Those are the ones you process.
Yes.
Against how many applications?
Applications should be almost similar number.
Okay.
We have a capacity of processing around 32,000 IDs per day. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can process up to 32,000 ID any one day.
Okay.
Yeah. And on the ID, again, we are now moving more to leveraging on technology. Previously, you would need to go to
Chief.
a registration center. They would manually take your biometrics on a paper. You would fill in on a paper. They would be folded together. You are doing it in Lodwar, brought to Nairobi, captured in the systems, generated and printed. Now we have graduated into what we are calling live capture units, where you go, the biometrics is taken electronically. You capture your data directly into the system. And where there is connectivity, then when it is submitted directly to our NSSF headquarters. There will only be verification to be sure, because the chief will have validated you. We shall be checking whether the biometrics of the chief that has validated is the same one that we have in our system. So once this validation and checking is done, then it is printed. That's why today you can get your ID within 7 days. Yes.
Okay, what was the delay that Smolestava said?
Yeah.
Was it still ID?
Yes, it's the same.
Okay, so there's still some glitches. Even passport backups, it's still an issue. How
So
Today it is
how
not.
would you answer this one? Who says he applied for the Maisha Digital Online and was told to wait for a notification when it's ready? It's been almost 2 months. I haven't received email, not even to confirm if the process was successful.
That should be a unique challenge.
So what should
I
he
need
do?
to check this one. I wish I took the
What should he do? Should he go to a Huduma Center? Should he?
Yeah, I think the best thing is, one, they can check back into the eCitizen system. Then we capture all the information, or alternatively go to an Huduma Center, because there would be a unique challenge about certain aspects of the individual.
Okay.
Yeah. Or in our registration centers, because we have more than 900 registration centers across the country. Yeah.
I want to come into the issuance of IDs, because we know from our birth rate we have over 1 million new children born every year. So there's about 1 million people who are getting to the age of 18 every year. For purposes of just participating in everything, are you sure, PS, that everybody who needs an ID today is able to access an ID and that they are accessing their IDs?
As part of the citizen right, every citizen has a right to identification and identification documents. I can say for sure that not every Kenyan who required an ID has an ID. And that is why today one is that we are investing in the live capture machines so that we can reach as many Kenyans as possible. I went to Marsabit 2 months ago, and I met as old as 60, 70-year-old people who do not have IDs. And as a country, we cannot allow that happen, because today, it will define you and your life. For you to be registered in SHA, you require an ID. So if we don't then have everybody access the ID, then we shall be excluding some Kenyans from critical service, including health, including affordable housing for anybody who would want to buy a house. So we have mapped out, there are certain parts of this country, when we did a mapping, there are still quite a number of counties, almost 15 of them, whose registration is below 60%. And these are people now that we want to put in more effort to make sure that they come to a similar level as other Kenyans. And one of the things that has happened and which really would assist in sorting out some of these challenges is the elimination of vetting. Because it created a perception of handling citizens in two different ways. And quite a number of them failed to go out to get IDs because they felt that they would go through a process that may make them look like they are not part of the country. And so many of them kept off to go acquire this identification document. And when we see the numbers now, it is really going up. And again, when we look at the fears that were there of people who may not be rightfully Kenyan getting IDs, is that it has even gone down. Because now we require the chief to authenticate, and they authenticate using their biometrics. So we shall be able to know who is this person who gave the validation. And that validation is given to everybody. Even when you go to your home, the chief will still give that validation, not because you are from a border county or any other perceived discrimination. So going forward, we are making sure that every Kenyan who is of age acquires an ID. This year, we have registered 500,000 students who are in Form 4. We rolled out a registration in the last 2 months for those who have acquired the required age, because it is easy and convenient for them to get it in school. You can imagine that kid in Marsabit High School, and they come from Loyangalani. If they have acquired the right age and they don't get an ID, it will be so difficult for them to acquire this ID.
I want to talk about NEMIS as well, but just before that, there's a caller on the line who I think has a question or a comment. What's the name? Samson. Samson from Kisumu. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle.
What's your question or comment for the PS?
The PS has said that IDs nowadays they give in 7 days. I applied an ID for my daughter who is joining university on 10th of July this year. Up to now, we've not received it. When we went to look for it, we were told that the machines were stored in Nairobi, and it is at Rabur Health Center. Would we really say the truth? Not 7 days. This is now, tomorrow is 2 months, and my daughter is joining university in Karatina. She can now not open a bank account. She cannot fill those forms.
All of those things. Thank you, Samson.
All of those things.
Let's get...
Samson, you said you applied in Rabur.
Rabur Chiefs Camp in Kisumu.
Rabur Chiefs Camp about in June. And
June 10th.
And you've been told the machines in Nairobi stalled.
Was stalled.
Okay. Let's get a response from the PS.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I want to say sorry for the delay. I acknowledge and appreciate the anxiety that is there as our kids join institutions of higher learning and where they have to apply for all the facilities that are there, whether they are scholarships or loans. And this sounds a unique situation because the person was informed that there was a challenge in Nairobi. I would want to personally check what the challenge is so that we can know what could have happened. But one thing that we did, like for this year, appreciating the fact that these kids were to get loans and all these other facilities, that is why between June and August, we went to schools so that we could give these students an opportunity to apply for the IDs. These will be students who will be going to the university next year. So we are being proactive so that going forward, we do not need to have these kids go home and go look for IDs. We should be able to take services to them where they are and where it is convenient for them to do it.
Right.
But this one, I will make sure that this one and any other
There's also,
are dealt with because, yes, I appreciate there could be certain unique situations, but within 7 to 10 days, you should be able to get your ID, unless there is a specific unique situation. And together with your team, we shall see whether we can get the contacts of this parent.
We'll give you the contacts
then
of this one.
Then we can be able to ensure
that
this is followed up.
Because
and any other
the
case.
daughter should be reporting to university next week, as he says, and she has...
I can give my word because I know all the vital info is already with us. This should be an ID which by this afternoon should have been issued, unless there are specific challenges that are specific to the applicant.
That are unique to that case.
Yes.
Is there a seamless help center that is able to advise? Because I'm sure it's not a case unique to this person. There's probably somebody listening in a different part of the country who's having something similar. I know I can see Small Esteva saying, but you're saying it's online now. You're saying I go to Huduma, which I get. He's out of the country. Okay. So is there a space on the portal that is seamless and is able to give people up-to-date information?
One is that we have our Huduma centers out there, which will be able to assist them.
Hudumas abroad as well? Because these are...
for anybody who is out of the country, our online system will still assist them through eCitizen. Even the ID one, through the system, you can track it, and it will. We are just finalizing a communication feedback, which will tell you your ID is ready. Go pick it from the place that you applied. This should be ready. It should have been ready.
Anytime now?
Last 2 weeks ago. I need to check with my team, but this is a system that we have developed, just like the passport today. When you apply your passport,
you get the text.
You get the text telling you it is ready. That's what we are also doing for the ID.
Because of time, just one last question on NEMIS and ghost learners, which are becoming, quite a big problem. How do people bypass, for example, NEMIS to have ghost learners in schools who are receiving capitation and all of that? It's been in the headlines over the last few weeks. Ghost learners receive capitations, ghost schools, and so on and so forth. But NEMIS was meant to nip this in the bud, essentially.
We are currently working very closely with the Ministry of Education because the only way we can be able to adequately authenticate who is a Kenyan and therefore should benefit from services that are provided by government is to have the initial identification, which is a birth certificate. And the biggest challenge that has been there is the availability of birth certificates, and sometimes birth certificates that may not have been generated through the proper systems. I'm aware that the Ministry of Education is doing a verification process. I think it's only fair that we give them that opportunity to do this verification process, so that out of this verification process, then we shall be able to properly be able to deal with these numbers. But as of today, they are working very closely with us at the Ministry of Interior through the civil registration to ensure that every kid has a birth certificate, because with a birth certificate number, then you could be able to issue the student with a unique personal identifier. That way now, once the two systems between the civil registration and the Ministry of Education, Kenyan Education Management Information System is adequately linked, then it will sort out some of the challenges that we are having with our data.
Yeah, we're at time. This needs another.
Yeah.
There's so, I think because of those core services, somebody was asking about the refugee integration, the Shirika plan, looking for an update on that. So we'll pause and probably call you back again, Daktari.
We shall be available because eCitizen and citizen services, you know, the country is all about service.
Yes.
And therefore, sitting on that hot chair of ensuring service reach Kenyans, I will always be available, and we shall always be available with my team to have this engagement and make sure that we appreciate what, and Kenyans appreciate what it is that we are doing for them as government, and that we are making it easy. It is at 24/7. I would have said, you know, for once now, Kenyans in diaspora don't need to travel back to come and get their passport renewed through eCitizen. Then somebody in Australia who is in a different time zone in Kenya is able to apply and be able to be served through the system. So we shall be available to make it as clear as we should be, so that all of us do not have any trust deficit in what we are doing in giving services to Kenyans.
Thank you very much. Dr. Belio Kipsang, Principal Secretary, Immigration and Citizen Services, has been our guest for the last 2 hours. In the next hour, we hand the mic to Eric Latif. He'll tell us why, he'll tell us what, and we'll see whether we can either agree, push back, or just have a conversation on it. But it is coming up to 9 a.m., Fixing the Nation, one conversation at a time.